Hey, how's it going? Such a nice day. I decided to take a Modelo out on the back deck and cook a excellent Asian dish. As you can see, the ginger behind me there as I add a nice yummy lime to my Modelo and enjoy this wonderful afternoon. We're going to cook this on the Blackstone, but you could cook it on in a wok or like cast iron or just a normal pan. But such a nice day, I decided to go outside. So this recipe is for like 3 people, but I probably could have added a little bit more because it was so yummy and delicious. Everybody wanted a little bit more after it was done, so I just used 1 chicken breast, but probably used 1.5 chicken breasts and maybe a little bit more broccoli than I use, as you'll see later. I'm just marinating the chicken here. I kind of cubed it up a little bit. Add some soy sauce, some sesame seed oil, and a little bit of garlic powder, and just kind of spread that all around, get all that goodness going so it's nicely marinated while the flat top is kind of heating up. And this is what we're going to use for the sauce. Got a little orange there, a little garlic. We're going to chop up 3 cloves here. Use part of it in the sauce and part of it just to add to the kind of stir fryness. All right, so it's the flat top is heated up a little bit, so we're just going to add a little pan here to get it heated up a little bit more. Wait a couple of minutes. Maybe take another sip of your Modelo or whatever beverage you have. Just let it kind of heat up a little bit. And always need extra hands. I have to bring all this stuff outside. So as you see here, I've got the oranges, I've got the broccoli, the chicken, and a little bit of it's just coleslaw mix. So it makes it easy. I just like to get the coleslaw mix. I probably could have added a little bit more coleslaw mix to this recipe actually. But just add about half of that garlic that you chopped up earlier, the 3 cloves, and a little bit of sesame oil just to get that garlic nice and toasted for the sauce that's going to go on this delicious recipe here. And just enjoy the outdoors. And we're going to add ginger. This ginger is basically what you do is the ginger I showed earlier. You just use a potato peeler, peel that off, add it to a food processor with just a little bit of water, and it grinds it up like that, real nice. So I added about a little bit over a teaspoon there, teaspoon and a half. Just kind of mix that around. It's not going to cook for too long before you add the oranges. I just got a full orange, so 2 halves here that I add into that, and get a little bit of citrus flavor. Like I said, if you wanted more of a citrus flavor, you could just I'm going to use chicken broth in here in a second. You could just deduct the chicken broth and add more of the oranges, but you got to add honey. Honey makes this dish, and not the artificial honey. You got to add real honey. So I added quite a bit. I added some there, and I'll add some more later. Like I said, if you want more orangey, leave out this chicken broth and just add an extra orange or whatnot. But I think it's good this way. A little bit of garlic powder just to make everything come together. And this is going to just sit there and simmer. Like I said, I'm adding more honey just to make it give it that little oomph. So now the grill's pretty warm, and we're gonna put the chicken on first. You kind of have to do this in layers. Get all this chicken going. If you never used the flat top before, you kind of have to spread it out. You can't leave it all in one area. So just move it around and then just let it sit. So it's going to get that nice little char on there. So I let it cook for a couple of minutes, and then I add the broccoli here, and I'm just letting it sit. For a little bit longer. Season it up. You always have to season. A little bit of the sesame oil, garlic. That's all it is. Yeah, add the rest of the garlic here. Or add it later so it doesn't like burn or whatever. A little more soy sauce. Add those layers of flavor. And another probably probably a teaspoon of the ginger to get all that other stuff really seasoned up. I could have added some more cabbage, like I said, this coleslaw thing, but because coleslaw always reduces if you add that to anything. That's canola oil. I'll just toss it around and then I'll let it sit. Like I said, you have to let it sit, so don't get super fancy about keep on flipping it and flipping it and flipping it. You want to get a nice little char on your chicken and everything, so make sure to stir that sauce because there's a lot of sugar in there, so you don't want it to stick to the bottom. Added some butter just to give it a little bit more touch there. I turned off the grill and kind of moved all this stuff over, and then this part of the grill wasn't used, so it's like really hot. See everything starting to sizzle there. So at this point I'm gonna like mix everything together just to get that sauce incorporated. I know I said not to move everything together, but we want to get all this sauce incorporated on the meat and veggies. Works out really well that way. See how much sauce is there? And you'll see here in a minute or two, just as I kind of move it around, get all that stuff. The sauce will incorporate on the meat, so everything's like really well coated. Because everything's already cooked at this point. You're just adding the sauce at the end. If you had that sauce before, it will be all burned up. So you're just adding a quick sauce to it. So you could serve this with rice or noodles. I basically I questioned the family and they wanted noodles, so that's what we had tonight. But you can obviously do rice if you wanted. So I just did some quick noodles right here, and man, this turned out really good. The family actually wanted more than this. Like I said, family of 3, they wanted more of this, and I can see why. It was delicious. So make this recipe. You'll really enjoy it. Thanks for watching and subscribe.